All right, this is Derek Hansen from sprintcoach.com and runningmechanics.com, and I thought I'd put together a planning video for sprinting this winter. So if you're going to be sprinting, preparing for something in the off season, maybe getting ready for a combine, just wanting to get faster over the winter, which is a more difficult time, then this is the planning video for you. And I thought I'd throw this together and get this out to people as part of like a holiday gift. It's going to be a longer video, so bear with me, but I've tried to put everything together in this graph here, which I will also publish an infographic for so that you don't have to always keep referring to the video. But I have different training elements outlined here, everything from sprint drills to starts and accelerations, upright sprints, which we'll distinguish, weights, elastic jumps, explosive throws and jumps, and also tempo running for general fitness. And those are all things that should be in your program. A lot of people will focus on weights, especially at this time of year. You know, winter, you're indoors, if the weather's not great, you're probably trying to get stronger, and I don't have a problem with that. But if you want to run faster, you have to organize things correctly and prioritize some elements of running and sprinting to make sure everything comes together well and that you're able to run fast when you need to run fast and be a little looser, a little more relaxed, have a little more intramuscular coordination. So we're going to talk about that. So let's start with the sprint drills first. There's a lot of stuff posted on drills, and this drill will make you faster. And, you know, I think a lot of people either don't do enough drills or they do too much. So you want to find a sweet spot on your drills, and finding that sweet spot is important and knowing how much time to dedicate. So we're going to focus on 3 different phases here, and they're just monthly: month 1, month 2, month 3. And the first 4 weeks, when it comes to drills, that's really teaching. That's the technical side of things. So we're going to focus on teaching and introducing drills here. Nothing special. It's going to be really boring, but I want to make sure people are putting their limbs in the right position, strengthening their posture. And so this first part may include some resistance bands, working uphill, adding some resistance to build strength, but also minding technique the whole time. So the second phase is more elastic. We're increasing the volume of work, moving faster with the limbs, but also rebounding off the ground and trying to strengthen the lower leg and feet in this phase right here. And then eventually we'll get to a point where the drills, we're just maintaining qualities. So we don't have to do as much, but we should never drop them completely. So that's something that's going to help remind the athletes of position, posture, limb movements. And you keep that in. You just narrow it down a bit. Maybe it's more part of warm-up and preparation, but not as big an emphasis as here. So that's the sprint drills. When we get to starts and accelerations, we do a short to long approach. And early on here, I say 5 to 15 meter accelerations. What I'm focusing on here is also technical. I'm trying to get people out of the gate in the right biomechanics. And I'm trying to make sure that maybe we take a little bit off. Maybe we're at the 85-90% range, and getting them to relax as part of acceleration, because a lot of people want to muscle it. So we're very, very focused on technique here. And then as we lengthen things out and things get faster and the volume goes up, so you see the volume going up here as the drills are going down, then I say 10 to 20 meters of acceleration, and we try to get a lot of repetitions for those sprints in that 10 to 20 range, just working on acceleration, posture, technique, and just building strength and power. And then you can see over here, we expand that from 10 to 30 meters, and you could go a little farther. You could go at 40, but most people won't accelerate past 30 meters if they're team sport athletes. All right, so I say here upright sprints. In the winter, if you don't have the distance and you're indoors, it's very hard to do upright sprints. We might do more drills to handle that, the elastic component, but I will incorporate curved, non-motorized treadmills and get them to do sprints for anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds, maybe 6 seconds, and we will start building that up. And I say we get faster here, and hopefully we can get outside by the 3rd month. But you can see we have to introduce it, and we'll do shorter volumes, lower volumes overall, and we'll get them on the curved treadmill and maybe work sub-maximally, work on technique, film them a lot, get a lot of video to show them what the technique should look like. So by the time they're out on this end here, they know how to run upright, their hamstrings are strengthened, and they can put in some maximal efforts, okay? If we look at weights, the first thing we're going to try to do is get a lot of the loading done in the first 2 months. When the sprinting volumes are a little lower, it's more acceleration based, and we're not running at high speeds. When we're running at high speeds, I'll cut the volume. We still might be lifting heavy, but the volume is significantly down, as you see the curve here. But in this first month and second month, focusing on getting stronger, especially in the lower body. And that's when we do it. But then we want to get away from that. We don't want to lose that strength, so we maintain it, but we want most of the central nervous system energy going into sprinting fast and getting velocity, okay? So elastic jumps, also important, as we mentioned up here. I want to increase the amount of elastic jumps as we go through, as the muscles are freed up and we get away from the heavy lifting. So we have bilateral jumps, which are lower load, and a lot of these might be low amplitude. They don't have to be big, huge jumps over hurdles or anything like that. Just work on reflex contraction and just prime the neuromuscular system. And then we might get into bilateral and unilateral in the second month, and then we'll do combinations here, probably get into more bounding and transitions where we jump and then we sprint out of them. Okay, but we get more elastic as the velocity goes up and the weights come down. Explosive throws and jumps are gonna kind of heavily mirror what happens with the weight. So we're gonna go more throws, which corresponds with accelerations and heavy lifting, and then we'll get a little heavier in the second month, increase the weight of the ball or put a weighted vest for jumps, concentric jumps. And then again, as we get to here, the third month, we will unload and we will do less of those explosive things because we're trying to be more elastic and we're trying to run at higher velocities. And the big thing that we're always going to maintain is we'll build up tempo running and just get the aerobic system primed, and then just maintain. We may drop off a little bit here at the end, but we still want to maintain that fitness primarily for recovery purposes. Get that circulation going so that when they're running fast and they're still doing all the lifting and throwing and jumping, but they're running at their highest speeds, they can recover very quickly and they can keep the whole system warm because they're very fit and they have a good circulatory system. So that's it right there. That was, the quickie version of how I would do my planning over 3 months. Sometimes I do it out to 16 weeks, but you get the idea in terms of how everything, as Charlie Francis taught me, from a vertical integration point of view, everything stays in the plan. You either just raise or lower the volumes to accommodate what you need in that particular phase. And in this case, when we run fast, we've lowered weights, we've lowered jumps, explosive jumps, we've increased elastic jumps, and we've lowered the amount of drills that we do because we're doing all of the sprinting here. And of course, we're doing acceleration every time we sprint. So you get an idea of what my emphasis is if I want people to run fast. So thank you very much. I'm Derek Hansen from sprintcoach.com and runningmechanics.com. These concepts are outlined in my Running Mechanics professional online courses and in-person courses. I'm going to be releasing a Running Mechanics Level 2 sport course, which is planning and periodization based. So we'll get into this in more depth. So please keep in touch and keep following, and I'll present some more information as we go through the holidays and into 2022. Thank you very much.